Going on, guys? It's your boy Lee John, and I'm getting back into my lore mood again now. It's been quite a long time, and not only that, I'm ready for some heated debate. So let's start the discussion. Who are the top 10 most powerful champions according to the lore? Now keep in mind, a lot of the lore of these champions have been retconned, but that's pretty much half of the league champions anyway, so until their lore has been updated, I'm going to be sticking with the powers they have in their current lore. And without any more chit chat, let's get into it.
Number 10. Kindred and Vel'Koz.
At number 10, I got Kindred and Vel'Koz. Now, the video just started and I'm already breaking the rules. How do you have two champions in one rank? Well, you want to know how? It's my list and I do whatever the fuck I want. But let me explain why I couldn't decide to separate these two. When you think about it, Vel'Koz Life Form Disintegration Ray, God, that's a mouthful, has the ability to absorb literally any life, mortal or immortal, as long as it has life. Then the life that he takes becomes a part of him as information. I do believe that Vel'Koz cannot just simply wipe away anything with life. This ray can be overpowered. For example, if Vel'Koz were to shoot a beam at someone like Xerath, it wouldn't disintegrate him, but it would probably take some of the intelligence he has to offer. Then he would know how he fights, how his power works, and that's what he would use to then become stronger. So if you watch the Avengers, he's kind of like Ultron, uses his intelligence to then become stronger, as a weird analogy there. And now we look at Kindred. Kindred and Vel'Koz both have powers that affect life itself. Kindred is the embodiment of death as a spirit, so with this sort of power you would assume I'm crazy for not having her at number 1. But there is a heavy indication that there are limits to her or its powers. Kindred cannot simply just overpower anything with life she comes across. Similarly to Vel'Koz, it said even on her wiki page that people have managed to escape these hunters, Wolf and Lamb, and people of the Shadow Isles give her a hard time. With the enemies being people like Yorick, Hecarim, Callista, I had to knock Kindred down on the pecking order here. Everyone else above her on this list also has hints of being immortal, or at least aging beyond mortal comprehension. So this would limit her effectiveness a lot, so that's why I put Vel'Koz and Kindred at number 10.
Number 9. Malphite.
Yes, Malphite at number 9. Why? He's a goddamn mountain from another universe. I mean, there's not that much you can compete against when you're a walking, talking mountain. The league found it necessary to summon Malphite in order to help their cause, and we haven't seen many champions forcibly summoned from another planet for assistance, so that speaks a lot about his power. Not to mention that Malphite is only a piece of this mountain. If he was reunited with the rest of himself, he could probably toss Runeterra into the moon if he wanted. Then again, he is just a mountain, so he is just a physical beast, and Braum managed to punch his way through a mountain. Granted, the mountain wasn't trying to fight back, but there's no unique powers here, and that's why he has to stay at number 9.
Number 8. Nasus.
Nasus at number 8, even though his old lore has changed up a little bit, so now he seems just like a regular ascended being. But the power he had in his previous lore to turn anything with life into death still seems prevalent in this new lore. At the end of his first person story, he literally just gave someone a death stare and their body started to wither away. Ascended beings are basically gods in and of themselves, and Nasus' extreme intelligence just makes him that much more deadly. He was Shurima's youngest general, and he can go into wars without losing a single soldier, and that was before he could turn you into dust. Now he can turn you into dust. So yeah, Nasus is at number 8.
Number 7. Cho'Gath.
Now Cho'Gath at number 7. Cho'Gath is a void creature with limitless power. The only thing that could even contain him were the summoners themselves, and even in the wiki it states that woe betide the day Cho'Gath grows weary of the league, and in modern English that means whenever Cho gets bored of the league, he will break out from this control to wreak havoc at his free will, and whenever the summoners even decided to summon him, they run the risk of him breaking out and devouring the world. Not to mention when you compare the splash art of Cho'Gath and Malphite, their hands, or in this case claw, are enormously bigger than one human. So Cho'Gath might be a little smaller than Malphite, but you have to remember he has infinite growth as long as he eats. So the only thing holding him back is the fact that a lot of his power relies on potential and not this innate strength that he already has. So he stands at number 7.
Number 6. Azir.
And at number 6, we have Azir. Azir is the only ascendant being that was chosen by the Sun Disk. Instead of going through this forced ritual, he was able to resurrect an entire empire, and with the death of his whole Shuriman army, he now has the power to recreate powerful Sand warriors of his whole army by just raising his hand. Azir's power is so great that people across Runeterra actually think Shurima is a live, bustling city, when it's really just Azir sitting in a chair commanding a bunch of these sand soldiers. Now, we can actually bring ancient Egyptian history into this argument as well, because that's what Shurima is obviously based off of. We know Azir, Renekton, and Nasus are a take on Egyptian gods. Renekton is a take on Sobek, the Egyptian god who showed a lot of violent death, and usually has to do with the military, relatable to how Renekton was shown going mad towards the end, butchering everyone like me. Nasus is obviously Anubis, god of the afterlife / death, and usually in charge of mummification, probably where Nasus' ability to wither bodies away originated from. And then we have Ra, the most worshipped god of the sun, and being labeled as the king of all gods and goddesses. And who depicts Ra in Shurima lore? Azir. Not to mention that Azir's main opponent is Xerath. Ryan wouldn't just give Azir a rival he could not contend with. Although he might not have the capability of killing or beating him, he definitely could give him a run for his money. So to get to Azir, you gotta contend with thousands of soldiers he'll be throwing at you, and that doesn't seem like an easy task. So Azir stays at a healthy spot at number 6.
Number 5, Xerath.
But a lot of you already saw this coming since I've been wearing out his name so much. Xerath's at number 5. Xerath's power literally caused the destruction of an entire empire, just like how Azir's power resurrected an entire empire. So Xerath has the potential power to cause Dragon Ball Z like explosions that wipe away entire cities, and it took 2 ascended beings, one who sacrificed himself, just to temporarily stop him. We have to remember that the Sun Disk was depleted with power after Xerath interfered with the ritual. That means every ounce of power left in the Sun Disk went into Xerath. This obviously had catastrophic effects since he went from being a typical black guy to floated pieces of energy-filled rock. Though a lot of this power is not under his control, and he doesn't have access to all this power all the time, and everybody else above him just seems too much to handle, so Xerath has to stay at number 5.
Number 4, Aatrox.
Aatrox at number 4. This guy has been known in history since history was even being recorded. He has been shown to slay countless people seemingly without much effort, changing the outcomes of any war he interferes in. So he has this giant ass sword that creates violence and rage. He has wings, pretty much unkillable to Runeterra standards, part of an ancient race to whom only 5 exist, and he's been doing this since the beginning of time. Yeah, he deserves to be up there. Not only that, but it could also be possible that since Aatrox is powered by this rage and violent intent, wouldn't the act of trying to kill him with that same violence or intent just make him that much more stronger? Something to think about. Aatrox is definitely one of the big fish in the pond here. The Angel of Death stays at a strong place at number 4.
Top 3, motherfuckers. Number 3, Jax.
And at number 3, we have the mighty Jax. Jax is the only champion ever to receive restrictions put on him by the league because he was too strong. Not even a Darkwing Overlord had restrictions. Not even a purple spider thing from another world had restrictions. Not even a fucking mountain had restrictions put on him. This just speaks volumes of this guy's powers. He has never lost a fight ever and currently has the most consecutive wins in the fields of justice. And that is still ongoing. And he does it all with the rusty lamppost. Now imagine giving Jax a weapon like Cloud's sword.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs.
Number 2, Bard.
Now number 2, I put Bard. Bard seems to protect the entirety of Runeterra. He seems to do it while traveling dimensions and worlds, while showing the hints of being immortal. Not only that, he protects the universe as a whole, and to protect the entire universe, I'm guessing you would have to have some sort of extraordinary power. Although his combat prowess hasn't really been shown, his speed and his reaction time seems to be on another level, shown in the trailer that was revealed. None of the champions in League, besides Bard and one other champion, have shown the ability to travel across planets. So when your power is on a universal scale, you know you're top dog when it comes down to just one world.
Number 1, Teemo.
Got him! Got him!
Number 1. Aurelion Sol.
And at number 1, we have Aurelion Sol. There is no question, there is no debate. I don't care what you guys say. You cannot convince me that there's any champion stronger than Aurelion Sol. This dude can blow up planets as a recreational activity. Who's stronger than him? Jax? He'll send a supernova straight up his ass, and if not, he can just clap his hands and Runeterra would disappear. I'm pretty sure a lot of these champions need oxygen, maybe. This guy right here creates suns with his pinky, and we saw what the power of a sun disk did to a regular human, made them immortal gods. Now imagine a thing that had the power of this sun disk, but times 1 million. Yeah, that's Aurelion Sol. He's no joke. Now I'm gonna go on to the honorable mentions. Now these guys deserve to be mentioned, but there are certain reasons why they didn't make the list. First up, we have Zilean. Although he seems to be immortal and controls time, he cannot actually affect the events that happen. It's just his consciousness that flows through time, so he's more of an abnormality rather than being some all-powerful figure who controls time. Syndra, yes, her power is seemingly limitless, but you have to remember that this power was measured by standard mages of Ionia. Syndra was able to have her magical growth restricted by some random mage in Ionia, so although her power is immense, I don't think it's limitless. Not only that, her power seems to grow at a certain rate, and she isn't immortal, so her power would only reach a certain point due to her lifespan. But Syndra doesn't make the list because this very potential holds her back. It's too much potential. If she fights Aatrox or Jax or Nasus, what are her opponents going to do? Let her go to a library, study a little bit, rest up, then come back to fight again when she has more power if she wasn't already strong enough? There's too much guesswork that goes into Syndra, so she stays off the list. Renekton, another ascended god, probably one of the most physically imposing champions in League, but that's his limit. He's just a physical monstrosity. Pretty sure Malphite would beat him in an arm wrestle. He does not contain the intelligence that his brother possesses, so he doesn't gain that edge either. Not only that, Renekton has lost a lot of his sanity, so his attack patterns will probably be very one-dimensional, leaving him off the list. There you have it, guys. There's my almighty list. I wanted to do some Shadow Isle lore stuff for you guys, but I've been waiting a while for Yorick's lore to finally drop so I can change up my theories if I need to, and his theory just got released today, so I was already in the making of this video, so those videos are going to come back soon. That's why you've seen a long period, like a week of no videos. But I hope you guys enjoyed this list here. Give me your list, but until next time, it's been your boy Lee John, and I'm out.
Just you.